Wu sat in the back row of the xenobiology classroom, her fingers drumming quietly against her. The Galactic Academy station, Meridian, floated in the darkness of space, a massive structure that housed students from 60 different planets. Through the transparent wall behind her, she could see 3 different suns in the distance, each one belonging to a different star system. Professor entered the room, their crystalline body reflecting the classroom lights in 1,000 different colors. The professor was from a world where silicon-based life forms grew like living glass. When moved, they made a soft chiming sound that reminded Wu of wind chimes back on Earth. "Good morning, students," Professor said, their voice like music. "Today I am assigning your major project for this semester. Each of you will present your apex predator list. You will research and explain the 10 most dangerous creatures from your planet." The classroom erupted in excited chatter. Wu glanced around at her classmates. There was a 7-foot-tall reptilian from already grinning with his rows of sharp teeth showing. Next to him sat Myra, an being whose compound eyes glittered with interest. In the front row, Vex, a creature covered in thick armor plates, was already tapping notes into his device. "This will be educational," continued. "We will learn about the diversity of life across the galaxy. We will understand how different environments create different types of danger. You will present in alphabetical order by planet name." Wu felt a knot form in her stomach. Earth came early in alphabetical order. She raised her hand. "Yes, Wu." Professor's colors shifted to a warm orange, indicating attention. "Can I volunteer to go first? I would like to get it over with." Several alien students turned to look at her, laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. "The human wants to go first. This should be amusing. Earth is a garden world, yes, all soft and safe." Wu felt her face flush but kept her voice steady. "Earth has its dangers." "Oh, I am sure," said his voice dripping with mockery. "Dangerous flowers, perhaps, vicious rabbits." A few other students laughed. Wu clenched her jaw but said nothing. Her friend Min, sitting 2 rows ahead, turned and gave her a supportive nod. He was the only other human in this particular class. Professor's colors shifted to a cool blue, a sign of disapproval at its rudeness. "That is enough. Wu, you may present first. Next class session. Be prepared." The rest of the lesson continued, but Wu barely heard it. Her mind was already racing through what she would include in her presentation. Earth was considered a garden world by galactic standards. The temperature was moderate. The gravity was light compared to heavy gravity worlds. The atmosphere was breathable for most species with minimal filters. It was the kind of place aliens chose for vacation colonies. After class, Min caught up with her in the corridor. The hallway was crowded with students of all shapes and sizes, a floating jellyfish-like being drifted past them. 2 students that looked like walking trees moved slowly toward the botany wing. "You don't have to prove anything to them," Min said quietly. "I know," Wu replied, "but I'm tired of them thinking Earth is boring. Just because we don't have acid rain or lava fields doesn't mean our planet is safe." "You have a plan." Wu smiled. "I'm going to tell them the truth, just the truth. I think that will be enough." Over the next week, Wu spent every free moment in the Academy's vast library. The library was a beautiful place, with sections adapted for different species. There were water tanks for aquatic students, low-oxygen rooms for methane breathers, and standard atmosphere sections for carbon-based life forms like herself. She pulled up files from Earth's databases, videos of animals hunting, scientific studies on predator behavior, historical records of human encounters with dangerous wildlife. The more she researched, the more certain she became that her classmates had no idea what they were talking about. Min helped her compile the data. "Are you really going to put that at number 1? He asked, looking at her list. "Yes," Wu said firmly. "It's accurate, it's honest, and it's going to shock them." "It might do more than shock them," Min warned. "It might scare them." Good, Wu said. Maybe they'll stop treating Earth students like we're from some soft, easy world. The night before her presentation, Wu couldn't sleep. She lay in her dormitory pod, staring at the ceiling. Her roommate, a gaseous being named, was already asleep, their form gently poolsing in the corner. Wu ran through her presentation again and again in her mind. The next morning, she dressed carefully in her academy uniform and made her way to the classroom early. She loaded her presentation into the holographic system and tested it twice. Everything worked perfectly. The images were clear. The data was accurate. She was ready. Students began filing in. Entered with his usual swagger, his tail dragging behind him. He saw Wu at the front and grinned. Ready to show us Earth's scary butterflies. Wu ignored him. More students arrived. Myra, Vex, and 40 other beings from across the galaxy filled the seats. Finally, Professor entered, their crystalline form shimmering. Wu, you may begin when ready. Wu stepped up to the holographic display. She looked out at the sea of alien faces. Some looked amused, some looked bored, was still grinning. She took a deep breath. Thank you, Professor. Today I will present Earth's apex predator list. These are the 10 most dangerous creatures on my... She paused. I should warn you, Earth may be a garden world, but gardens can have thorns. She activated the first hologram. A massive reptile appeared, floating in the air above the classroom. Its jaws were open, showing rows of teeth. Number 10, the crocodile. The image rotated slowly. The crocodile was over 20 feet long, its scales looking like armor. Wu began to speak, her voice steady and clear. This creature can weigh over 2,000 pounds. Its bite force is 3,700 pounds per square inch. That's stronger than most industrial equipment. It can hold its breath for over an hour while waiting for prey. When it attacks, it uses something called a death roll. It grabs its prey and spins rapidly, breaking bones and tearing flesh. The prey usually drowns or dies from shock. She showed a video of a crocodile exploding from calm water, grabbing a large animal in its jaws. Several students leaned forward. The bored expressions began to fade. These creatures are ambush predators, Wu continued. They can wait motionless for days. They look like logs in the water. Their eyes and nostrils are positioned on top of their heads so they can see and breathe while almost completely submerged. They are older than the dinosaurs. They survived the extinction event that killed most life on Earth 65 million years ago. They are perfect hunters. His grin had faded slightly. He was watching the hologram with more attention now. And that, Wu said calmly, is only number 10. We have 9 more to go. The classroom was completely silent now. Every eye was on her. Wu felt a small smile tug at her lips. This was going to be interesting. Professor's colors had shifted to bright yellow, indicating fascination. Please continue, Wu. Wu nodded and prepared the next hologram. The real presentation was just beginning. Wu touched her and the hologram changed. The crocodile disappeared and was replaced by a sleek, gray shape moving through dark water. Number 9, the great white shark. The creature in the hologram was massive, at least 20 feet long. Its mouth opened to reveal rows upon rows of triangular teeth. Wu watched as several students shifted in their seats, even looked interested now. This is an apex ocean predator, Wu explained. It has existed for 16 million years with almost no changes. Evolution made it perfect and then stopped. It can detect one single drop of blood in 25 gallons of water. It can sense electrical fields produced by beating hearts. It has multiple rows of teeth, and when one breaks, another moves forward to replace it. A shark can go through 30,000 teeth in its lifetime. She showed a video of a great white shark breaching, its entire body leaving the water as it caught a seal. The impact was brutal and fast. Several students made sounds of surprise. They don't chew their food, Wu continued. They bite and tear. Their teeth are serrated like knives. They shake their heads when they bite to saw through flesh and bone. They can swim up to 35 miles per hour in short bursts, and they hunt alone. Myra, the student, clicked her mandibles together nervously. Alone, not in groups. Alone, Wu confirmed. Great whites are solitary hunters, they don't need help. She paused to let that sink in, then moved to the next hologram. Number 8, the polar bear. A massive white bear appeared, standing on its hind legs. It was over 10 feet tall. Its paws were enormous, with claws like daggers. The polar bear is the largest land carnivore on Earth. Males can weigh up to 1,500 pounds. They live in one of the harshest environments on the planet, where temperatures drop to -50 degrees. They can smell a seal from 20 miles away. One strike from their paw can crush a seal's skull or decapitate it completely. She showed footage of a polar bear hunting, the way it moved silently across the ice despite its enormous size. Then she showed a bear breaking through ice that was several feet thick. Their fur is not actually white, Wu said. Each hair is transparent and hollow, designed to trap heat. Their skin underneath is black to absorb warmth from the sun. They can swim for days without rest, crossing over 100 miles of open ocean. They are intelligent enough to use tools. They have been observed dropping chunks of ice on seal breathing holes to stun the seals when they surface. Vex, the armored student in the front row, spoke up. They use tools, without hands like yours. With their paws and mouths, Wu said. They learn, they adapt, they solve problems. The classroom was very quiet now. The amusement had vanished. Wu continued. Number 7, the box jellyfish. The hologram showed something that looked harmless, almost beautiful. It was translucent and delicate, with long tentacles trailing behind it. This creature is nearly invisible in water, Wu said. It has 24 eyes despite having no brain. Its tentacles can grow up to 10 feet long. Each tentacle is covered in millions of microscopic darts called nematocysts. When something touches the tentacle, these darts fire automatically, injecting venom. She brought up a chemical diagram. The venom attacks simultaneously on 3 fronts: the heart, the nervous system, and the skin cells. The pain is so intense that human victims have gone into cardiac arrest from shock alone. Others have drowned because the pain made them unable to swim. Even if you survive, the scars are permanent. She showed images of the scars, long welts that looked like they had been burned into the skin. Several students made sounds of discomfort. There is no cure, Wu added. Only treatment for the symptoms, and you have to reach help quickly. Many victims die within minutes. Was no longer grinning at all. He was watching intently, his predatory eyes fixed on the hologram. Wu moved to the next image. Number 6, the African elephant. A huge gray animal appeared with large ears and a long trunk. It looked peaceful, almost gentle. Several students seemed confused. This is not a predator, Wu said. It's a herbivore, it eats only plants, but it is extremely dangerous. She showed a video of an elephant flipping a vehicle that weighed several tons. The vehicle tumbled through the air like a toy. Gasps echoed through the classroom. Adult elephants can weigh up to 14,000 pounds. They live in matriarchal societies led by females. They have complex social structures and long memories. And I mean long. An elephant never forgets. She pulled up several documented cases. There are records of elephants tracking down humans who wronged them years earlier. One elephant recognized a veterinarian who had treated it badly 12 years before. The elephant waited and then attacked when it saw him again. Another elephant destroyed the village of a man who had killed a member of its herd, but waited 5 years to do it. They hold grudges, asked a student from the back, a floating being that looked like a cluster of lights. They hold grudges, Wu confirmed. They mourn their dead, they have burial rituals, they visit the bones of deceased family members. They are intelligent, emotional, and they remember. That makes them dangerous in a different way. If you wrong an elephant, it might forgive you, or it might wait for the perfect moment for revenge. You won't know which until it's too late." The room was completely silent. Professor's colors had shifted to deep purple, a shade Wu had never seen before. Number 5. The Komodo Dragon. A large lizard appeared, walking slowly across rocky ground. It was about 10 feet long, with powerful legs and a thick tail. "This is the largest lizard on Earth," Wu said. "But size is not what makes it dangerous. It's the way it kills." She zoomed in on the dragon's mouth. A Komodo dragon's bite contains over 50 strains of bacteria. Their saliva is a breeding ground for deadly pathogens, but recently we discovered it's even worse than that. They also produce venom. The venom prevents blood clotting, so when a Komodo dragon bites you, you start bleeding and you don't stop. She showed footage of a Komodo dragon hunting a water buffalo. The dragon bit the buffalo once, then walked away. The buffalo stood there, seemingly fine. "The dragon doesn't chase," Wu explained. "It follows. It bit that buffalo once and delivered the venom and bacteria. Now it just walks behind it, for days if necessary. The buffalo will grow weaker from infection and blood loss. Eventually it will collapse. Then the dragon eats." She showed the final footage days later. The buffalo was dead. 3 Komodo dragons were feeding on it. "They track wounded prey for up to a week," Wu said. "They're patient, methodical, and they're immune to their own venom and bacteria, so they can eat rotting meat without getting sick. They're also cannibalistic. Young Komodo dragons live in trees because the adults will eat them." His tail had stopped moving. He was staring at the hologram with what looked like respect. "That's only number 5, Min said from his seat, a small smile on his face. He was enjoying this. Wu nodded. "Now we reach the top 4. From here, the list changes. These creatures aren't just dangerous because they're big or venomous or strong. They're dangerous because of something else." She paused for effect, looking around the room at all the alien faces watching her. Intelligence, adaptability, and persistence. The word hung in the air. Professor moved closer to the holographic display, their crystalline body chiming softly. "These next 4, Wu said quietly, represent a different kind of threat. They don't just kill, they think, they plan, they remember, and they don't stop." She prepared the next hologram, her fingers steady on the. When she looked up, she saw that every single student was leaning forward. Even the ones who had looked bored at the start were completely focused now. Met her eyes. For the first time since she had known him, he wasn't mocking her. He was listening. Wu smiled slightly. "Let's continue." The hologram shifted and a new creature appeared. It was black and white, sleek and powerful, moving through dark water with deadly grace. Not one, but several of them moving together. Number 4. The orca, also called the killer whale. The classroom watched as the pod of orcas swam in perfect formation. They were massive, each one easily 25 feet long. Wu let the image speak for itself for a moment before continuing. "These are apex ocean predators," she said. "They have no natural enemies. Nothing hunts them. They are at the very top of the ocean food chain. An adult orca can weigh up to 12,000 pounds. They can swim at speeds of 35 miles per hour. Their teeth are 4 inches long and designed to grip and tear." She paused and changed the video. Now the orcas were hunting, working together with precise coordination. But physical power is not what makes them truly dangerous. Watch. The video showed a group of orcas approaching an ice floe where seals were resting. The orcas swam in a line, then dove together. Moments later, a wave rose up and washed over the ice, knocking the seals into the water. The orcas were waiting. "They created that wave on purpose," Wu explained. "They swam together at the exact speed needed to generate a wave of the exact height required. They calculated it. They coordinated. They worked as a team." Several students made sounds of amazement. Myra's compound eyes seemed to widen. "Orcas hunt in family pods," Wu continued. These pods have their own cultures. Different regions have different hunting techniques that are taught from mother to child. They have language. Each pod has its own dialect. Scientists can identify which pod an orca belongs to just by listening to the sounds it makes. She showed another video, this one of orcas hunting a great white shark. Remember number 9 on this list, the great white shark. Orcas hunt them. Specifically, they hunt them to eat only the liver. They flip the shark upside down, which causes tonic immobility, a state like paralysis. Then they hold the shark there until it drowns. Then they extract only the liver and leave the rest. The classroom was dead silent. They're picky eaters, Wu said with a slight smile. They don't just kill for food. They've been observed playing with their prey, tossing seals back and forth like toys. They teach their young by letting them practice hunting on live prey even if they're not hungry. They're intelligent. They're creative. They solve problems in new ways. She showed one final video of an orca intentionally beaching itself on shore to grab a seal, then wiggling back into the water. They take calculated risks, they innovate, they adapt, and they do it all as a coordinated family unit. Was sitting very still now, his predatory instincts clearly recognizing another apex predator when he saw one. Wu moved to the next hologram. Number 3, the army ant swarm. Tiny insects appeared in the hologram, millions of them, moving across the ground like a living carpet. The aliens leaned closer to see. Individual weakness, Wu said quietly. Collective apocalypse. She zoomed the image out. The swarm covered an area the size of a football field, millions upon millions of ants moving in unison. A single colony can contain 20 million ants. Some colonies have over 300 million. They move through the forest in a column that can be over 100 feet wide. They consume everything in their path. Insects, small mammals, anything that cannot escape fast enough. She showed footage of the swarm moving through a forest. Birds flew away in panic. Larger animals fled. The ants just kept coming, an unstoppable wave. They are completely blind, Wu said. They navigate using pheromone trails laid down by scout ants. They build structures with their own bodies. Watch. The video showed ants linking together to form a bridge over a gap. More ants walked across the living bridge. They sacrifice themselves for the colony without hesitation. They'll build bridges, rafts, even walls with their own bodies. If there's a river, they form a ball of living ants and float across. The ones on the bottom drown, but the colony survives. She zoomed in on a single ant. One ant is harmless. 1,000,000 ants are a natural disaster. They're not aggressive in the way other predators are. They don't hunt for sport or revenge. They simply move forward and consume. They're not evil. They're inevitable. The student, Myra, was making a high-pitched humming sound. She seemed deeply disturbed. They can strip an animal to the bone in minutes, Wu continued. Once the swarm finds you, you can't fight them. There are too many. Your only option is to run and hope you're fast enough. She closed that hologram and prepared the next one. The tension in the room was thick now. Even Professor had stopped moving, their crystalline form frozen in concentration. Number 2, the honey badger. A small, furry animal appeared. It was maybe 3 feet long with black and white markings. Several students looked confused. After the army ants, this seemed almost cute. Actually laughed. That is number 2, it's tiny. Wu didn't smile. Before you laugh, let me explain what this creature can do. She showed a video of a honey badger attacking a lion. The lion was at least 20 times larger. The honey badger didn't care. It went straight for the lion's face, clawing and biting. The lion retreated. A honey badger weighs about 12 kilograms, Wu said. It picks fights with animals 50 times its size, not because it has to, not for food or territory, because it can, because it wants to. She showed more footage. A honey badger raiding a beehive, being stung hundreds of times and not stopping. A honey badger eating a cobra alive, getting bitten and injected with venom, passing out, waking up 2 hours later and finishing its meal. They have been documented fighting off lions, leopards, and hyenas. They raid beehives for fun. Their skin is so thick that arrows and spears often can't penetrate it. It's also loose. If a predator grabs a honey badger, the badger can twist inside its own skin and bite its attacker. Several students made sounds of disgust. They're intelligent, Wu continued. They use tools. They've been observed working in pairs to escape enclosures. One will distract the guards while the other digs. They've broken out of concrete enclosures by digging under the walls. When humans put them in stronger cages, they learn to pile objects to climb out. When humans remove the objects, the badgers learn to open the cage doors. She showed security footage of a honey badger, systematically testing every part of its enclosure, looking for weaknesses. They eat their prey alive, starting with the genitals. They don't kill first. They just start eating. They have almost no fear response. There's a saying on Earth, honey badger don't care, and it's true. They don't care how big you are. They don't care how dangerous you are. If you're in their way, they'll attack. Had stopped laughing. He was watching the small creature on the hologram with something that looked like genuine concern. 12 kilograms, Wu repeated. Number 2 on Earth's apex predator list. She let that information settle. The room was so quiet she could hear the hum of the station's life support systems. And now, Wu said softly, number 1. She touched her, the hologram changed. The image that appeared was simple. A human figure, average height, average build, nothing impressive about the physical form. Beneath it, one word glowed in the holographic display. Humans. The classroom erupted in confused noise. Several students started talking at once, stood up from his seat. What, that's a joke, yes. You cannot be serious. Wu just looked at him calmly. I am completely serious. You're saying humans are the most dangerous predator on Earth, Vex demanded from the front row. You're not even that strong. You have no armor, no venom, no claws. Correct, Wu said. We don't have any of those things. Professor's colors were shifting rapidly through several shades, indicating confusion and fascination. Wu, please explain your reasoning. The room slowly quieted. Every alien eye in the classroom turned toward Wu. She stood there calmly, waiting for complete silence. Then she smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Let me tell you about humans, she said. Wu walked slowly around the holographic display. The image of the human figure rotated gently in the air. She let the silence build before speaking. Humans are endurance predators, she began. We're not the fastest, we're not the strongest, but we can run longer than almost any other creature on Earth. She pulled up a video showing a human jogging across an African plain following a deer. The deer would run ahead, then stop to rest. The human just kept jogging. The deer ran again. The human followed. This continued for hours. Before we had advanced weapons, we hunted by following our prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. A deer can run faster than a human, much faster, but it can't run for 8 hours straight. We can. The video showed the deer finally collapsing. The human walked up to it calmly. We call this persistence hunting. Our prey would run away and hide. They would rest. They would think they were safe. Then they would see us coming again, still jogging, never stopping. They would run again, rest again, and we would still be there, always coming, never stopping, just jogging. She changed the video to show thermal imaging of a human tracking at night. We can track in any weather, day or night, rain or shine. We sweat to cool down, which means we don't overheat like other animals. We can regulate our body temperature. We have the best endurance on the planet. Was listening intently now, his head tilted. But that's just running, that's not. That's psychological warfare, Wu interrupted. Imagine being hunted by something that never gets tired, never gives up. You run until your heart is about to burst. You hide, you rest. You think you escaped. Then you see it again, still coming, always coming, for hours, for days, until you literally can't run anymore, until your body gives up. That's what we did. An alien student with multiple eyes blinked, all of them in sequence. Wu could see she had their attention. But that's not all, she continued. Humans adapt. We live everywhere on Earth. Frozen tundra where the temperature drops to -50 degrees, deserts where it reaches +50 degrees, dense rainforests, mountain peaks at altitudes where the air is thin. We didn't evolve for these places. We just decided to live there anyway. She showed images of humans in different environments: ice fishing in the Arctic, living in the Sahara Desert, building cities in jungles and on mountains. We change our environment to suit us. If it's cold, we make fire and build shelters. If it's hot, we find water and create shade. We don't adapt our bodies. We adapt everything around us. We make the world fit us. Tool usage, Vex said quietly. You mentioned humans use tools. Extensively, Wu confirmed. We turned rocks into knives, knives into spears, spears into bows and arrows. We're the only species on Earth that can throw objects with deadly accuracy. A human can kill from 50 meters away with just a rock. She showed footage of a human throwing a spear. The throw was fast and accurate. Our shoulders are specially designed for throwing. We have more control over projectiles than any other species on our planet. A trained human can hit a target the size of your eye from across this room. Min, sitting in the audience, unconsciously made a throwing motion with his arm. Several aliens near him leaned away nervously. And then there's pack bonding, Wu said. Humans form emotional attachments, strong ones. We bond with each other, with our families, with our friends, but we also bond with other species. She showed images of humans with dogs. We took wolves, apex predators, and turned them into companions. We domesticated them. Now they love us more than they love their own survival. A dog will die for its human. We did the same with cats, horses, birds. We make friends with anything. She showed more images. A human hugging a lion, a human swimming with dolphins, a human with a pet snake wrapped around their shoulders. We form emotional attachments to robots, to vehicles, to plants. We name our weapons. We talk to our machines. We adopt animals that could kill us and call them family. Pack bonding is a survival trait for us. It makes us loyal, dedicated. When a human considers you part of their pack, they will do anything for you. Professor's colors had shifted to a deep blue, indicating thoughtfulness. But here's the important part, Wu said, her voice dropping lower. We hold grudges, we remember wrongs, we don't just survive, we learn, we adapt, we return. There's an old saying from Earth history, if you come at the king, you best not miss. She pulled up a new image, a list of extinct species. Humans have driven 83 species to complete extinction, not for food, not always for territory, sometimes because they were inconvenient, sometimes because they were dangerous, sometimes because they damaged our crops. The number glowed in the holographic display, 83. We didn't outcompete them through evolution. We hunted them, every single one. Systematically, we tracked them across continents. We found their breeding grounds. We eliminated them, globally. And then, after they were gone, we felt bad about it. We wrote sad stories and built museums. Professor's colors shifted to deep purple, the shade of alarm. We're persistent, Wu continued. Once we decide something needs to be done, we don't stop. We can't stop. It's how we're built. We finished a pyramid that took 3 generations to build. We sent people to our moon just to prove we could. We dug tunnels under mountains that took decades. When we want something, time is just an obstacle, not a barrier. Finally spoke, his voice uncertain. But you're small. Your claws are weak. You have no natural armor. My species would tear you apart in direct combat. Wu turned to look at him directly. Her smile was not pleasant. There was another species of human once. We called them Neanderthals. They were stronger than us, bigger, better adapted to cold weather. Their brains were larger in some ways. They had lived in Europe for 200,000 years. They were successful, established, powerful. She paused. Humans met them about 40,000 years ago. Another pause. They were extinct 15,000 years later. The classroom was utterly silent. We don't know exactly what happened, Wu said quietly. Maybe we fought them and won. Maybe we outcompeted them for resources. Maybe we absorbed them through interbreeding. The genetic evidence suggests all three happened, but the result is the same. When humans arrived, Neanderthals stopped existing as a separate species. She looked around the room at all the different aliens. They were stronger, tougher, better suited to the environment, and they still lost because humans don't win through strength. We win through persistence, adaptability, tool use, pack bonding, intelligence, and the absolute refusal to give up. She showed one more image. A human long-distance runner, still running after 20 hours. We're not the strongest species on Earth. We're not the fastest or the most venomous, but we're the ones who survived. We're the ones who spread to every corner of the planet. We're the ones who built cities and civilizations, and we did it by being too stubborn to die. Had gone completely still. His predatory eyes were fixed on Wu with a new kind of focus. Not mockery, not amusement, assessment. Every other apex predator on my list is endangered, Wu said. Not because of climate change or asteroids or natural disasters, because of us. We're not at the top of the food chain. We're outside it entirely. We don't participate in our ecosystem. We control it. She closed the presentation. The hologram faded. That's why humans are #1 on Earth's apex predator list. Not because we're the most dangerous in a fair fight, but because we don't fight fair. We use tools, we plan, we cooperate, we remember, and we never ever stop. The silence that followed was profound. No one moved. No one spoke. Wu walked back to her seat, passing rows of alien students. Every single eye tracked her movement, not with the casual attention from before, with the careful focus of prey watching a predator pass by. When she sat down, Min gave her a small nod. She nodded back. Professor stood motionless for a long moment, colors shifting through shades of purple and blue. Finally, the crystalline being spoke. "Thank you, Wu. That was thoroughly researched and well presented." Class dismissed. Students began to leave, but they gave the human students a wider space than before. The cafeteria was crowded during lunch period, filled with students from dozens of different worlds. The noise was constant, a mix of different languages and sounds that created a steady hum of activity. Wu carried her tray through the crowd, looking for a place to sit. She noticed something strange. As she walked, students moved aside, not obviously, not dramatically, but they stepped back, created space, avoided bumping into her. It had never been like this before. Min was already sitting at their usual table near the window. Wu joined him, setting down her tray. The table next to them was empty, so was the one on the other side. There was a clear radius around the human students that hadn't existed yesterday. "I think you scared them," Min said quietly, a small smile on his face. He was eating something that looked like noodles but was actually a synthetic protein from the station's food synthesizers. "I just told the truth," Wu replied. She picked at her food without much appetite. "The truth is scary sometimes." They ate in comfortable silence for a few minutes. Then, the student from their class approached nervously. His compound eyes reflected the cafeteria lights in 1,000 different fragments. Wu's voice was high-pitched and uncertain. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "The thing about the ants, the army ants, is that really true? 20 million in one colony?" Wu nodded. "That's a small colony. Larger ones have over 300 million. Made a clicking sound with his mandibles. He seemed to be processing this information. And they work together, all of them, without individual thought. They have a kind of collective intelligence, Wu explained. Each ant follows simple rules, but when millions of them follow those rules together, they create complex behaviors, bridges, rafts, hunting strategies. The colony acts like one giant organism. Was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "My people used to have something similar, before we evolved individual consciousness. It's in our genetic memory. The idea of returning to that terrifies us." Army ants aren't mindless, Wu said gently. They're just organized differently. They're actually very successful. That's what makes it terrifying, said quietly. Then he nodded and walked away, moving faster than usual. Min watched him go, scared. Maybe a little respect isn't a bad thing, Wu said. After lunch, Wu received a message on her. Professor wanted to see her in their office. Wu felt a flutter of nervousness. Had she done something wrong? Had the presentation been too much? She made her way through the station corridors to the science wing. Professor's office was a beautiful space, with walls that could shift between transparent and opaque. Right now they were transparent, showing the stars outside. Was standing near the window, their crystalline body catching and reflecting the starlight. "You asked to see me, Professor." Turned, colors shifting to a warm orange. "Yes, please sit." Wu sat in one of the chairs designed for carbon-based life forms. Remained standing, which was normal for their species. "I have been teaching for 40 standard cycles," said. "I have seen hundreds of presentations about apex predators. Yours was different." "Different how?" Wu asked carefully. "Most students present their apex predators as external threats, challenges their species had to overcome, dangers they survived despite. You presented humans as the danger itself." Wu wasn't sure what to say to that, so she said nothing. His colors shifted to blue, the shade of deep thought. "Do you believe humans are dangerous to other species, to us?" "That depends," Wu said slowly. "Humans are dangerous when threatened, when protecting pack members, when pursuing a goal, but we're not randomly violent. We don't kill for fun, usually. We kill for reasons: food, protection, territory, resources. Usually. There are exceptions. Humans are individuals, some are cruel, some are kind. Most are somewhere in between." Was quiet for a long moment. The Galactic Council debated for 3 standard years about whether to contact Earth. Did you know that? Wu shook her head. There were concerns. Your species had recently developed nuclear weapons. You had used them. You were still divided into competing nations. Wars were common. The Council worried about introducing a potentially dangerous species to the galactic community. What changed their minds? Wu asked. Curiosity, hope, and the realization that leaving Earth isolated might be more dangerous than making contact. A species that develops faster than light travel on their own, without guidance, without rules, without understanding the galactic community. Colors shifted to dark green. That was considered a worse scenario. Do you think they made the right choice? I don't know yet, said honestly. Ask me in 100 years, but Wu, I want you to understand something. Your presentation today will be talked about. Students will share it. It will spread. Other species will hear about it. Is that bad? It's reality, and reality is often better than rumor. You presented humans as they are. Dangerous, yes, but also logical, strategic. You didn't present humans as monsters. You presented them as survivors. There's a difference. Wu thought about that. I just wanted them to stop thinking Earth was soft, that we were weak. Mission accomplished, said, and their colors flickered with what might have been amusement. Over the following weeks, things changed. The human students were no longer ignored or mocked. They were watched, studied. When Min mentioned casually that he ran for exercise, covering 20 kilometers every morning, a group of alien students stared at him in disbelief. You run 20 kilometers every day, one asked. For recreation. Sometimes 30, Min said with a shrug. Depends on my schedule. That's not normal, the student said. It's normal for humans, Min replied. Another time, a human student named got injured playing a contact sport. She broke 2 fingers. The medical bay fixed them quickly with advanced alien technology, but the doctor recommended rest for at least 3 days. Was back in class the next morning, taking notes with her injured hand wrapped in a support brace. Why is she not resting? An alien student whispered to Wu. Humans don't like being still, Wu explained. We get restless, bored, we'd rather be doing something. Even when injured. Especially when injured, we don't want to fall behind. The alien student made a note on there. Wu realized she was being studied. All the humans were. They had become subjects of fascination. 3 weeks after the presentation approached Wu in the library. She was alone, studying for an upcoming exam. When she saw him coming, she tensed. His species was aggressive and territorial. She was isolated, but she kept her face calm and her body language neutral. Sat down across from her without asking permission. For a long moment, he just looked at her with those predatory eyes. Eyes designed to track fast-moving prey across open ground. On my world, finally said, we have a legend, very old, from before we developed space travel. We call them the Endless Hunters. Wu set down her and gave him her full attention. The legend says they were creatures that never stopped pursuing prey. They weren't fast, they weren't particularly strong, but they never got tired, never gave up, never forgot. Our ancestors feared them more than any other predator. What happened to them? Wu asked. According to the legend, my ancestors learned to fight together in groups, coordinated defense. They drove the endless hunters to extinction 10,000 years ago. It's taught to children as a story about the importance of unity and cooperation. Leaned forward slightly. I thought it was just a myth, a story to teach lessons. But then I watched your presentation, persistence hunting, endurance running, pack bonding, tool usage. I researched after class. I looked up everything I could find about human evolution and behavior. And, Wu kept her voice steady. And I realized the endless hunters weren't a myth. They were a species memory, something my ancestors actually encountered, something they barely survived. Wu felt a chill run down her spine. Are you saying? I'm saying humans aren't unique in the galaxy for being persistence predators. You're unique for surviving your own evolution without destroying yourselves or your planet. Every other species like yours, every other persistence hunting pack bonding tool using species, either went extinct or killed their own world before reaching the stars. He stood to leave, his massive form casting a shadow over the table. You asked why the Galactic Council waited so long to contact Earth. It's because they wanted to see if you would destroy yourselves first. Most species do. Most of the betting pools had Earth civilization collapsing by the year 2200. It's 2547, Wu pointed out. Exactly, you're 300 years late. Something that might have been a smile crossed his reptilian features. Which means you might actually make it. That terrifies some species, but it also means you might be the allies the galaxy needs. He walked away, leaving Wu sitting alone with her thoughts. 6 months later, the Galactic Academy announced an endurance challenge, a race across varied terrain on a controlled planet. 100 kilometers, multiple species could compete. It was meant to be a friendly competition, a way to build community. Wu volunteered to help organize it. She wasn't competing. She was setting up water stations and rest points along the route. Min was helping too, along with several other human students. On the day of the race, she stood at the starting line watching the competitors prepare. There were representatives from 20 different species. Was there, his powerful legs built for speed. So was Vex with his heavy armor. A few others looked built for distance, with efficient body designs and multiple hearts. And there was the human girl who had refused to rest when injured. She looked small next to most of the other competitors, fragile even. She was stretching calmly, preparing her muscles. The race began, took an early lead, his powerful stride eating up ground. Vex was close behind, started at a moderate pace, neither fast nor slow, just steady. Wu moved to one of the midpoint checkpoints to watch. By kilometer 40 was still in the lead, but he was slowing down. The other competitors were spread out behind him, was in 5th place, maintaining the exact same pace she had started with. By kilometer 60 had fallen to 4th place. 2 other competitors had passed him, but had moved up to 3rd, still maintaining that steady, unchanging rhythm. By kilometer 80 was in 1st place, not because she had sped up, because everyone else had slowed down. She just kept going with that same steady, relentless pace, like a machine, like something inevitable. She won by 15 minutes. As crossed the finish line, barely breathing hard, ready to keep going if needed, Wu saw it happen. That moment of understanding rippling through the crowd of spectators. Humans didn't win by being faster or stronger. They won by never stopping, by being persistent, by being exactly what Wu had described in her presentation 6 months ago. Caught Wu's eye from across the field. He looked tired, his tongue hanging out as he panted, but he nodded once. Respect, recognition, understanding between predators. Wu nodded back. That evening, Min found her standing at one of the observation windows, looking out at the stars. "The Galactic Council updated humanity's file today," he said. "I saw it in the news feed." "What does it say?" "Status, Apex Predator Persistence Class, Threat Level to be determined. Recommendation, Continued Observation, Possible Alliance. Under no circumstances should humanity be provoked." Wu smiled slightly. "That last part is probably wise." "Are you okay with all this, being seen as dangerous?" Wu thought about it. "I'm okay with being respected. I'm okay with them understanding what we are. We're not monsters, we're just survivors, really, really good survivors. Think we'll make it, long term, as a galactic species?" "I think we'll be fine," Wu said. "We're humans, we're persistent, we adapt, we make friends, we solve problems, and we never give up." She looked out at the stars, at the vast galaxy full of different species and unknown challenges. "Besides," she added with a small smile, "we're pack animals, and it looks like we just found a whole galaxy of potential pack members." Min laughed. "Pack bonding with the entire galaxy, very human." "Very human," Wu agreed. And somewhere in the darkness of space, on hundreds of different worlds, aliens were telling new stories. Stories about the humans, the persistence hunters, the endless ones, the species that turned rocks into spaceships and never learned how to quit. Some of those stories were told with fear, some with respect, some with hope. But all of them were told with understanding. Earth's children had reached the stars, and they had brought with them the trait that made them apex predators on there. They just kept going.